Hey, Stitchy friends, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher. It's Monday, December 28th, and it's just a little after 11 in the morning, and I'm back for video number 36. We'll call this a wrap-up from year end. I didn't feel great yesterday. Part of my issue, I think, is I haven't slept very good for about since about the 22nd of December. And we did have a great Christmas. I think it's a little more difficult. Well, I think it's a lot more difficult, actually, when your kids are grown and they have spouses, and my daughter has kids. And so you have all those dynamics. Plus, I like to have Christmas dinner here. So then I have to work around when my son is going to be with his wife and her family versus my daughter wants Santa Christmas morning with her kids at her house. And so then there's all these dynamics, and it just gets to be a little stressful. But here in Florida, I don't know if it's, I think it is mainly, I don't know why, but things are really, in my world, normal. Except that I wear a mask. Okay, so I can go to the grocery store. There's a lot of restaurants that I can go to. Now, some of the restaurants like Chick-fil-A and some of those you can't go in, but you can get drive-through, which is, it's still the food. It's just a lot more normal, I think, in Florida. I don't know why. I won't even get into that. But so COVID has not really impacted our Christmas, I should say. We had a good Christmas. And I'll show you some of the things I got for Christmas because why not, Anyway, I've got a lot of different things I could show you, and I was kind of all over the board on stitching. I did go about 4 days without stitching at all because just busy. When it takes you three loads of dishes in the dishwasher before you get everything washed. And I always bake a red velvet cake this year, and last year I did it gluten-free. And so that's part of, we just have a lot of traditional foods we eat at Christmas. Casseroles and cake and, all the good stuff. Honey-baked ham. We usually get a honey-baked ham. But you're not here to hear all that. You're here to see stitching. So let me show you some things. I have a couple things that I just literally put about 5 stitches in, just so I guess I could call it a whip. So I have that, and then I have haul, which also includes presents, and then I have some, as always, candidates for what I want to stitch next, and New Year's start, and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. And I think, Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, I think my husband's going to add Christmas decorating pictures at the end. We really wanted to do a video of the house and the decorations and all that, but things just it's like they kind of go like this, and then all like this. It's like, oh my gosh, it's the 22nd, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, and I still haven't done this, and I still need to go one more time to the grocery store, and it just gets a little whirlwindy to me. So anyway, it is what it is. Today I'm going to start quilting again because I have some people that I said, right after Christmas, I'll have your quilts done. So things are going to be kind of back to normal. I will be undecorating probably this weekend. I think the grandkids are spending the night Friday night. So by Saturday, I'll be more than ready to undecorate. So anyway, which, by the way, I will give just a little shout out from my daughter. Thank you for all the prayers for her, because the service yesterday at church was on gratitude, being grateful. And she said, everybody thinks 2020 was like the worst year and all that. She said, it was a really good year for me, Mom. She said, A, I'm cured from cancer, and B, we were in a brand new house. And she said, it's just been blessing after blessing. So amidst COVID, we can always look for the blessings and be grateful. So anyway, all of that. So I think the first thing I want to show you is I had one finish. I'm up to 29 finishes for the year, of which I think 10 were samplers. Some of them were not as big as samplers, but they were samplers. I'm trying to close. I don't want to end on an odd number, 29. So I have something I'll show you that I've started and I'm working on that I really want to finish this week. I should be able to do it. It's not a problem. So that I can have an even 30. The past 2 years, 2018 and 2019, I had 34 finishes, but I think I had a few more smalls. So anyway, here's the first thing I finished. This is that Peace and Goodwill sampler. This is by Chessie and me. I did it on 36 count. I'm pretty sure this is Beach Brew by R&R. And one thing this is with the country sampler conversion. One thing I will tell you, because of my extreme passion and love for over one, I have to spread it out because, can't do over one on everything. Oh, by the way, see, I got a new ring light, so maybe you'll see a reflection. My son gave me a ring light. If you don't know what that is, it's a big tripod with a light that's literally a ring, and it helps your lighting on your videos. So anyway, Peace and Goodwill sampler. It was supposed to have over one here and over one here, and the over one says by my hand and then a name and a date, or initials and a date, and down here it says cherish peace and goodwill, be plenteous in mercy. I didn't want to do all that over one, especially on this sampler because it's not a huge sampler and it's really not a reproduction. So I just put peace and goodwill. And I tease because that's probably where it'll end up, the Goodwill store. Oh, my. Okay, so I'm going to throw some stuff on, not throw, but I'm going to lay some stuff down because I have no space around me here. Okay, so now we'll talk about what I've been working on. So, what have I been working on? The first thing, I picked this up yesterday, and this is the thing that I really plan. Well, where's the pattern? I plan to get this done, so this would be my 30th finish for the year. And that is it's L Genders. Let me see if I can do it so the picture shows it better. L Genders 1875 by With Thy Needle and Thread. I started this summer of 2019, I think. I started it a while ago. But all I really did when I started it was the outline. So I picked it up last night. I did a little bit of the over one because this bottom alphabet here is over one. And even the name is over one. Even though that looks like those capital initials look like they're regular, but they're not. Instead of a regular cross, there's 4 little over one. What's the point? I don't know. I thought about just doing like Smyrna's to get you'd still get the same look, but I'll probably do the over one. And then when I finish that, so I'm using, this is on Winter Brew by R&R. And this one, I just have to finish the top alphabet and then that over one alphabet. I'm using Winter Brew 36 count, I believe, and I'm doing full crosses with Ruby Slipper by Gentle Art. Ruby Slipper. There's another one that's Ruby Slippers. So that would be my 30th finish. And when I get done with it, I have this spool. And I don't know if I'll hem stitch or do something to finish off the edges and then wrap it on here. And that's one of the reasons I left a long tail, not tail, but on this end, so that the first wrap I can stitch it to itself. Does that make sense? And then after that, so that'll secure it on without having to glue or anything like that. I don't want to damage the spool. Oops, I'm going this way. But I was doing that to show you the back. So, clear as mud. Okay, got that. Okay. So hopefully I'll have that done maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. So that's something I was working on. The other thing I was working on, this is actually a gift. I'm hoping this person doesn't watch and look, but I did want to share it, so we'll see. I don't think this person watches all of my videos. They do watch some, but anyway, this is Blackbird Designs Moon Garden. This came out years ago. This was Loose Feathers number 8. And so I have the kit. Let's see, how do I say all this without giving it away? This person I'm making it for used their kit to make me one. So I have this already stitched by this person. And now this person doesn't have their own kit, but I have a kit, and I'm not going to stitch it twice. Stitch it and keep it, because that would give me 2 of them. So anyway, did you get all that? It is done on 30 count with 2 strands, which is a little painful. Actually, the 2 strands isn't bothering me as bad as I thought it would be, but but my muscle memory, I so used to doing 36 or 40 count that, I just take a little scoop to make my stitches. And when you're stitching on a lower count, meaning 30, I have to take a bigger scoop. And so it's getting that in my brain and getting it used to it. So anyway, here's the colors for this person. And here's where I am on this. And this will be a belated Christmas present, because I'm also going to send it to be framed, because this person had mine framed. So that's how far I am. So I will continue to work on that until it is finished, because it's for this person. And then the next thing that I spent probably most of the time on in the last 2 weeks was Hannah Tingy. I have an oversized piece of linen that I need to trim down. This is done on 40 count buttercream. This is Hannah Tingy, Hannah Tingy, however you want to say it. The border is completely finished. Even the buds, flowers, berries. I don't know. You guys know that I don't know what to call them. There's a big old thread there. Anyway, so the border's done all the way around. And I have this dividing band done, and I've got part of the tree done. It looks done, but it has fill in. And then I'm working on the body of the first reindeer. So here's the picture, Hannah Tingy by the Scarlet House, 1823. I'm anxious to get to the house, so that's what I was trying to work to at least get to the house. And if you'll notice, I think I need a round of applause. I mean, come on, people. Let's give credit where credit's due. I did some of the over 1 already. Now I'm doing a tent stitch, which is half of your cross. I do the first half of the cross. I know there's some people that recommend doing the second half of the cross, so it kind of mirrors your full cross stitches, but I don't. To me, when that's up on the wall, are you going to be able to say, oh yeah, she did the first half of the cross, not the second half? And the capital letters are full regular cross. So that's where I am. on that one. 40 count buttercream by Lakeside Linen with the called for NPIs, silks. So working on that and enjoying it. I worked on that some yesterday too. And then, I don't know what possessed me to do this. I started this, and then that's when I hopped over to do that L. Genders, you know, the little skinny piece. Because I was like, why am I starting a sampler when I really want to have another finish for the year? But I went ahead and got this one out. This is Mary Miller, 1842, by the Scarlet House. Okay, don't laugh. Here's my meager start. Started on the border. Not enough, it's kind of pitiful. Not enough to really write home about even. And these are the colors for that. It's going to have that beautiful mustardy gold house, which I'm really looking forward to working on. Next to a red house, a mustard colored house is my favorite. Can't have ketchup, you might as well have mustard, right? You can't have red, you might as well have whatever. Okay, the next one that I had a little meager start, and this is done on 36 count, just regular exemplar. Oh my gosh, this is not even really worth talking about. I wanted to start, I don't know, this was before Christmas. My brain must have been in total zany mood. This is Peaceful Paradise by Midsummer Night Designs. I got this from the attic. I don't know if it's still available or not. It's going to go on my Sunday school wall. And let's see, there's a number of different scriptures. Most of it's the 23rd Psalm, but there's other too. So anyway, that all the text is scriptures, and then you have the pastoral scene at the bottom. Midsummer Night Dream, Peaceful Paradise. These are the threads, and when I started it, they were all like, no, I did not curl my threads, but they were all, you know how some stores will wrap them back up, so they're all curly. So it's going to be pretty, but it's going to be colorful too. I mean, there's a purple. I'm not a purple fan, but a little purple. I'm not an orange fan either, but it'll be fine. And you're going to go, are you kidding me? So I did a whole 8 stitches. And like I said, this is 36 count exemplar by Lakeside. No, I'm not kidding you. What else do I have in my bag of tricks? I think that's all that I worked on. That's all I worked on in the last 2 weeks. But hello, we had Christmas and Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve, which is the 23rd. So anyway, so next I think I'll show you haul, because that's what I have the most of sitting here. So I'll try to distinguish between things I purchased versus received, and go from there. Let's see here. I gotta get a little organized. Sorry. The first thing I received, this was a kind stitchy gift from Lynn, somebody that follows my videos. It's a big project bag. This is blackbird fabric that's been quilted with feathers feather pattern. I wish I could quilt feathers as good as this because it's gorgeous. So great quilting, Lynn. And it's such a wonderful size. Compared to, you know, a lot of other project bags, it's probably a good third bigger. And I love that blackbird fabric, which I have quite a bit that I'm hoarding. So when I'm gone, you guys can all scramble and say, "Who got the blackbird fabric?" Let's see what else here in this bag of tricks. I know you're all going to be so excited to see this, but I got a toaster. Now, I know the rule of gifting, especially from your husband, is not to buy anything with a plug. That came from my daughter. Since I have to eat gluten-free, I don't use the same toaster as my husband. So I've been toasting bread, bagels, whatever, in the oven, which is a pain in the neck because you got to preheat the oven and then you have to time it so that, and sometimes you have to turn the bread over. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I just want a toaster. So my daughter got me a toaster. And I guess my husband was going to get it. And then my daughter said, nope, don't. I've already bought one. So thank you, Lindsay, for my own dedicated toaster. I was thrilled. It's on my list. I was thrilled. And since I'm also have to eat gluten-free, my daughter gave me these in my stocking. If you have to eat gluten-free and you have not tasted Tate's Bake Shop gluten-free cookies, you're missing out because these taste the most like regular cookies. You can buy them on Amazon. You have to get the white bag because the green bag is with gluten. So if you have to eat gluten-free, here I am promoting a food product on Amazon, no less. So that was a treat. And that's one of those things where, you can sit down with a cup of coffee and just have one cookie and they're just delicious. Okay, so then my sister gave me this cute little mini dough bowl. How cute is that? So I'm anxious to use that. It's very fun. I love it. I'll put a candle and maybe some greenery in there. That'll be fun. My daughter got me this hand balm by Myers. Myers does all the cleaning stuff. And this is the basil scent, and it smells really good. It's a really good hand lotion. So got that. And then this was kind of a funny story. So, oh, my nose itches again. So I didn't get my husband anything because he told me, he said, is it okay if I buy myself something and then you can wrap it up? And I said, yeah, that's pretty easy shopping for me. When you've been married 38 years, it's kind of like, okay, whatever. I have this one eye that's drooping. It's like, what is going on here? I look like I have two different size eyes. Maybe I do. Off the subject, Carol. Anyway, so I came across this book I wanted, a quilt book. And so I sat there and I thought, well, do I do the same thing he did? And I buy it for myself and then tell him I bought my own present. You can just, wrap it up. And then I thought, or should I just tell my daughter that I want this? So I could not remember which I had done. So when I opened it, and it's this book, Treasure Hunt, 13 Quilts Inspired by Antique Finds by Linda Collins. And I love this. This is my kind of quilting. I love small blocks that are just, detail piecing. Love it, love it, love it. This is me. And this quilt, I think, was one that Country Sampler. I'm not sure, but I think that's where I got the idea to get this book. But it's full of quilts that this is me to a T. Anyway, so my husband gave me this package and I opened it and I said, "Is this a joke?" He's like, "Why?" I said, "Did I order this for myself and you intercepted the package and wrapped it?" And he's like, "No, I ordered it for you." And I was like, "But I never told you about this." He said, "Yeah, but you told Lindsay." Okay, so anyway, talk about a brain burp right there at Christmas morning, Christmas afternoon, whatever. Okay, then I got 2 wonderful floss rings from a couple stitchy friends that make these. How fun is this? Follow your bliss, and then so that's one that I got. And then I got this one from a friend. Isn't that adorable? The little people, and a cross and a bell. Love it. And then another stitchy friend gave me cute little ice cream swirl scissors. This is the group that meets on Thursdays. And I didn't buy individual presents. What I did was I had probably, I think there's 8 or 9 of us. And I had just enough, maybe one left over, of charts that I had bought duplicates of. So I thought, I'm just going to take those and pass them around and everybody can pick a chart and that'll be my gift to them. And it worked out great because there were a couple that were sampler-like. There were a couple that were Brenda Gervais. So it was nice and it was fun, and I was able to give away charts that I stupidly bought more than one of. But anyway. So that was gifts. My son, well, no, I have one more gift I'll show you at the end. Maybe I should show you now. That my son, he gave me the ring light. So if you'll just hold, I'll go get it. For those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that I think it was 2018, my husband made me shaker boxes. And he made me what we call, for our anniversary, he made what we call the anniversary set, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then subsequently, he made me a 5 and an aught. And an aught is a 0. That's a fancy. So for Christmas, he made me a 6, 7, and 8. They're huge. So I'm going to have him take a picture and insert it at the end. But when you put them all together, if I can, without spilling them. Oops. Oh, you can't even see them all. So that was my Christmas gift from my husband. I love them. They're big. They're still kind of drying. And when I open the box, and I love the variants in the colors because they're going to get the neatest patina as they age. They're made from cherry. And he does a beautiful job. He can't do any bigger than that. I don't think he can really even, I don't know. But the 8, but you know, it starts out and then he has to put them in a boiling kind of a trough to get them so that they're pliable and can be bended. One would think bended, but anyway. Okay, now I'm going to show you, this is probably going to be a long video. Oh well. This is a haul that I purchased. This is my Christmas present to Carol. First of all, I got my book of days. And I'm ready to start January. I have my little Under the Woolen Willow paper clips. and I'm ready to go. Actually, January 1st is over here. The kids are spending the night January 1st, Friday night, so I'll stitch during the day, probably. I got my new Winds of Autumn book by Blackbird, and I was really, really waiting for this, October 31st. But there's a number of wonderful patterns in here. Love this one. It's a Sisters sampler. It's just Blackbird style. It's fabulous. So fabulous. And it smells fine. I also bought myself this. This is a rug hooking book by the Old Tattered Flag, and they're in, I think, upstate New York. I know they're in New York, but I think it's upstate New York. And this has some patterns in it. A lot of it is on punch needle too. So it's both. It's punch needle and rug hooking. How to finish. There's, I think, there's some patterns in here. Seven rug hooking projects and 7 punch needle projects. I love this one on the front. So I really want to get back into punching and also rug hooking. So got that. Then I ordered this chart from England. And I watch a British murder mystery show called Vera. And it takes place in Northumberland. She works for the Northumberland City Police. So anyway, I saw this chart, and I could have done a PDF, but I actually wanted a chart that came from Northumberland. Mama Loves You GB has mentioned the Northumberland sampler house. I think it's a museum. I'm not 100% sure if it's a full museum or not. But anyway, this is Sarah Marple, 1830. And it has, if you see here, it has the same deer, like on Red Deer. And this, to me, reminds me a little bit of Isabella Fox. Both of those by GGR. There's no over 1. It was interesting, though. I was looking at this, and it says it's stitched on 36 count Newcastle light mocha. Newcastle being the 36 count. Anyway, the interesting thing is it says backstitch using 3 strands of floss. It's not really a backstitch, in my opinion. It's a cross that's offset. And you'll see that sometimes with girls. Okay, so let's say you're doing a flower. And the bud part of the flower is 6 stitches. Well, in order to center the next row, you would have to split. And so your first stitch would be 1 thread in. So then you could do 4 and then 2. Does that make sense? No. What am I trying to say? Anyway, if you have odd, it's easy to go da, 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 and build your blossom. But if you have even, sometimes it's more difficult. Maybe it's if you go from 6 to 3. No, that doesn't make sense either. Oh, maybe it's if you go from odd to even. So if you have 7 stitches and then you want to do 4 next, you can't evenly do it because 7, the next row smaller would be 5. But if you have 7 and you want to go to 4, then you have to offset them. And so the end of the berries are offset. That is a lot of dialogue for something that is really... Anyway, they call it a back stitch, but to me it's just a cross stitch that's offset, which a lot of girls used to do that when they, not on purpose, mistakenly they would do that on some of the reproduction samplers because they got off. And so, there would be a stitch that starts on a horizontal thread rather than a vertical thread. And then they'll, kind of do 3 strands and then kind of get back to it. So If that was clear as mud, then I accomplished my goal, because I did not. I'd have to draw a diagram. Anyway, I want to keep trying to explain it, but that's just going to make it worse. So, I got a couple of charts, Christmassy ones. I got these from Country Sampler. These are Artful Offerings. I know Christy from Daisy Case Primitives was the first one that I saw. Pictured this, and then right after that I saw it on Country Sampler's newsletter. Artful Offerings. This one is called Cranberry Christmas, and this one is called Rocking Horse Holiday. I won't even kit those till next year. Then I got 3 from the Humble Stitcher. I got this one, and there again, Christy from Daisy Case Primitives showed this, the Humble Stitcher. This is just called Merry Christmas, but I love those kind of bell snickle kind of guys. Same with this one. That one was a Santa in blue. This is a Santa in, I'm sorry, this lighting's not helping, in gold. And then this is a bell snickle, and he's in red. I think Christy has done, I think she's done all of those, but I'm not sure. And then I got my 4th in the Scattered Seed series, the Wren series. This one says, Scattered Seed I cast for thee, O little wrens, song for me. I would think it should be sing for me. Maybe it is sing for me. Looks like an O. No, it is sing for me. Okay, I read it wrong. Oh, little wrens, sing for me. Oh, fight those glasses, Carol. Just don't give in. I've never worn glasses except for readers when I stitch. And it's a hard thing to. Then I got some American Chestnut by R&R. I get a lot of questions, so let me clarify this. R&R Reproductions makes linen. They dye the linen, okay? So that's R&R. Dyeing to Stitch is a shop in Virginia. Those 2 parts make up, those 2 parts are owned by the same 2 women, Anne and Pat. So one is a retail and one is a reproductions. And R&R not only does linen dyeing, they also do sampler reproductions. A lot of people ask me from one of the pictures that's in my opening part of the video with just some pictures, and it says, "Oh, for a closer walk with thee." That is a reproduction by R&R. But in order to get the chart, I recommend that you call Dyeing to Stitch, because they would be the ones that would market the R&R reproduction samplers. Got it? Okay. So anyway, this is American Chestnut. It's a really wonderful color. It's just kind of a light tannish. And I got a fat half of that. And then I came across, once in a while on 123 Stitch, I can find some Lakeside linen. And so I got some 36 count wood smoke, a fat quarter. It's kind of a gray brown. It's really kind of pretty. I'm almost thinking it would look good on Winter Rose Manor. I have my Brenda's Brew. I did get some Brenda's Brew. I didn't bring it. I don't know if I got that before my last video or not. I think I did. And speaking of Winter Rose Manor, I got the project bag stuff to make a project bag for Winter Rose Manor. I got that from Dyeing to Stitch with the roasted chestnut, I think. And then I got my Schoolgirl sampler from Country Sampler. When I first saw this, I was what's the right word? I was just a little surprised, I guess, because usually the Schoolgirl ones don't have so much over one. This has a lot of over one. Like all of this is over one, all the middle is over one, all of this is over one. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 big areas of over one. But it's kind of growing on me. I think it would be, I could see doing the border, or at least part of the border. Maybe do the outline of the border, and then do a section of over one. And then do the flower pot, and then do a section of over one. And then go back and fill in the berries, bees, or buds, or beans, whatever, on these, on the border. And then do another section of over one. And then do the cartouche, and that middle section is not over one. So it's called Mary Griffin, 1824. It's by Samplers Not Forgotten, part of the Schoolgirl series. But I think when this was stitched and framed, it would be just absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, that came as a kit. And at some point, I think I might start it. It's very soft colors. I like the darker linen. It's okay. I'm going to pull this chair closer to me, so once again, I might disappear for a minute. It's magic. Okay, another thing I have to say. I have had so many, by the way, my next video, it will not be Christmas. Just warning you. And my next video is going to be a super long one because I'm going to go through every whip that I'm starting. I think I have 30, something like that. Every whip I'm starting 2021 with. So you might want to get a pizza for that. Not just a cold drink, a pizza. This is called Merry Christmas Ellen Vaughn. I think that's what it is, Mary. I looked for the pattern and I got it out recently because I wasn't sure of the name of it. This is out of print. This is a Blackbird pattern, and it's one that was, they had a series of house patterns, and it said a series of 9, but I thought there were only like 7 that were actually part of the series. I'm not sure. If anybody knows, let me know, because I've done more than one of them. I've done this one. My daughter did one for me that's at her house. How nice. And then I did another one. Is it up here? No. I think it's in my sewing room on my Blackbird wall. I don't remember the name of it. But Blackbird doesn't do true, they've done a couple true reproductions, but for the most part, they will either design completely on their own, or if they take an antique and then tweak it and add stuff. And so if that's the case, I'm fine with changing the wording. So this says Merry Christmas, Laura Fields. That was my grandfather's mother, and she was born in 1866. So that would be my great-grandmother, Laura Fields. It's done on a maybe 30 count piece of some kind of green linen. I think it was probably R&R. There was a time when R&R did most all of the overdyed linens. Not all, but you know what I mean. They were one of the most predominant. And this came out early 2000s, maybe. Merry Christmas, Ellen Vaughn. The only thing I can suggest for people that want to do that, you know, they see something like this and they're like, oh, I'd really like to stitch that. There is a Facebook group called Fans of Blackbird Designs. This is, other than the secondary market like eBay, I have no idea where you would find this. You know, maybe there's a shop in your town that might have older charts. I don't know. You just really have to search. But this Facebook group, Patricia Geary heads it up. She's the administrator. And they do have a lending library. Now, you can't just join the group, Fans of Blackbird Designs, and then say, I want to loan this out. They have to be really stringent rules, because somebody could say, I want to borrow it to stitch it, and then next thing you know, they sell it on the secondary market for $100. So they have to be very careful about who gets charts. And I think you have a limited amount of time to stitch them. Now, I believe, with the exception of a few rewards of merit, I think I have all of the Blackbird designs, but also with the exception of some retreat pieces. That's why when that Winds of Autumn came out, I was happy because a couple pieces were from retreats and I did not have them. And sometimes retreat pieces get released in a year and sometimes they don't. And so, it's up to the discretion of the designer whenever they want to release it to John Q. public. So, anyway, Merry Christmas, Ella Vaughn is the name of it. And that's all I can tell you. Okay, these are kind of options, what I think I would like to start. This is by Shakespeare's Peddler. It's called Ragamuffin 2. There's a number of people that are going to start this on New Year's Day. I have it kitted. This is going to be a long video, guys. You're going to have to you'll just have to watch it in segments, I guess. I have a piece of 40 count light exemplar. These, and I won't take them out because they're not on a ring. But these are the silks. There's one kind of pinkish. The rest are kind of neutrals. And there's all different kinds. There's Gloriana, Aversois, and NPI. Teresa stitched, I think she's the one that stitched it. I don't think she had a model stitch, but she might have. But the original, the count is 340 by 290, and it calls for 32 count. I might have 36, but I think I have 40. But I'm kind of wondering if I want to change to 36. She used one strand on 32 and said the coverage was great because she was using a silk that's thicker, a Aversois is thicker. So not sure. But I better decide if I'm going to start that. But here's what I really think I'm going to start. I saw this stitched when I was at the attic last summer, a year ago. It's Elizabeth Watt, 1816. It's by Milady's Needle. It has no overwash, and it's pretty big, 298 by 339. So it's about the same size as that Ragamuffin 2. This one, the picture does it absolutely no justice. When I saw it on the model, I was like blown away. I have a piece of 40 count weeks parchment, which is what it calls for. And this is on the Zweigart base. It's about like that. And it's stitched with NPIs, some of which I had to order. Look at all those reds. See, you can't tell in the picture that there's that many beautiful reds. It is loaded with pinks and reds. And then there's some greens. Oh, and I'm not showing you green, so. Some rust, some greens, some browns. These were ones I already had, and these were ones I had to order. I'm kind of leaning there, guys. I'm kind of leaning there for my New Year's start. I'm going to show it to you one more time because it's so gorgeous. We got Adam and Eve complete with nipplies. I just love this. All the motifs, only one alphabet. It's fabulous. Lean in there. This is another part of my haul. I don't know if I showed you this last time, I think, the New England sampler. I got a piece of seaweed by Fox and Rabbit, and I ordered the Aversois that I was out of, or that I didn't have, in order to do this one. Teresa just finished this. If you look at Kitten Stitchers, I think it's on her most recent video. She showed it finished. It wasn't framed, but she had finished it. That's a possibility. I have been talking about this one since I've done videos, I think. Mind independent and free. I might start this as soon as I finish that little red piece that goes on the spool. Then there's this one, Jane Southward. Number of people, including Brenda and who else? Somebody else. Somebody else is going to start this. GGR, Jane Southward, 1836. I have it kitted with a piece of this is Up in the Attic by Fox and Rabbit. This is an Australian company. This is like the perfect, see there it is. That's the perfect color for this. I think Brenda got silks from the attic, but I'm just going to use the called for overdyes. There again, lots of beautiful red. I don't know. I'm really leaning toward that Elizabeth Watt. Watt. W-O-T-T, Watt. This one is Mary Rowe. I want to start this in the new year at some point. This was one, but it's by the Scarlet House. Mary Rowe, 1808. Brenda showed it on her house tour. It's done with Belsois silks. Belsois silks, you know, $7 plus. And that's a huge gasp for a lot of us. However, they're 12 strand. So comparatively, you're paying $250, $260, $270 for overdyed cottons that's 6 strand. So you're getting twice as much for not that much, you know. I mean, half of this would be $350. So people think it's so expensive, but you're getting twice as much. Now, if you're only doing one project and you're never going to use it again, then obviously you're overbuying. But if you're starting to collect silk and it calls for Belsois, and Belsois is made by Classic Colorworks, the same as the cottons. So you kind of have to juggle whether, you know, that's what you want to do. Which I enjoy collecting them so that when I pick up a project and I'm going to kit it, then I have, you know, I might only have to order a few colors that I don't have. This was a Facebook group, Julie, and the group is called Homespun Needlework, Homespun Stitching and Needlework, something like that on Facebook. And this was a special offering by Stacy Nash. So I got the second part to this. This is part 1, and this is part 2. It's not available anymore, but I just wanted to show you. I think I was supposed to put that in my haul. At some point I want to start that. I'd like to kit this up. A peacock, a unicorn, and a badger. And you really don't, it doesn't really matter what linen you're using if you're going to stitch the entire background. If you want to see somebody that's getting really close to finishing it, it's Jen from Quirks and Stitches. It's fabulous. It calls for Versois silks, and that's what I want to stitch it in. So I just need to see what I have and what I would need to order. And it's a big girl. I think it's fabulous. Fabulous. I really want to have a big red sampler on my wall. I don't have to have a red sampler wall, but I'd like to have this. This one's a good size one, I thought, to start. Louisa Coulamore. And this is by Hands Across the Sea. I have it kitted. With a piece of who knows what. I think this is a vintage sand dune. It's a big piece. And I actually, oh here, I do know what it is. No, it's Hog Bristle by Fox and Rabbit. And I have 2 hanks of red silk. I I don't know if it'll take 2, but I think it'll take more than 1. 45 meters. So a meter's what? 40 inches, 45 inches, 42 inches, somewhere around there. It's just a little over a yard. Random thoughts that you didn't know you knew. Oh, Lord have mercy. We're an hour already. Okay, I told you guys a while ago that I'd never stitched a Quaker sampler. It's really not true. I did stitch one for my son and his wife when they got married. This is Sarah Tatum. I have it kitted. It's by the Scarlet Letter. It's an Ackworth, a Quaker sampler. I have the silks kitted for this, of Airsois. And they're kind of all over the board. You know, you have blues and yellows and browns and whatever. I'm not sure what this piece of linen is. It's pretty light. Oh, I do know. It's Maritime White by Lakeside. Not sure. I think it's 40 count. Yeah, it's 40 count. And it's real close to fitting on whatever this piece is. So I had it marked. Last but not least, I want to, now in addition to all the whips I'm going to show you next time, call me crazy. This is a Savior's Praise. I actually started a Savior's Praise with the called for, whatever it was, cottons. I can't remember if it was Anchor or... And then I decided when I was at the attic and saw this wonderful group of silks. So the attic did a silk conversion, and I had started it. I had almost the whole 2 sides of the border. A lot of you have seen this. This is Savior's Praise by Shakespeare's Peddler. I had a good portion of the, you know, kind of the outline of the border done. So then I thought, well, I'll just do that in cotton and then keep going in the silk. The greens were just enough different that I didn't feel like I should do that. So I have a piece of Winter Brew, I think. And I have this. And I've been wanting to stitch Savior's Praise for a while. And I really like the way somebody, when it came to the verse parts here, they put in some words to hymns. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know if I'll do that, but I just thought that was really neat. I'm not sure who did that. So anyway, that's on my radar. So that's it. With the exception, I was cleaning out some quilt stuff. I came across a block of the month that I had started moons ago. I don't know if any of you remember Thimbleberries. I don't even think they're still around, but I don't know. But Thimbleberries did quilt blocks. And I have this quilt partway done. And I have, it's a block of the month, so I have all the kitted up fabric. And it's, you know, I'm not as much a fan anymore of these big chunky blocks. I don't like a lot of big quilt blocks. But when you have big, you have sections of it finished, this section, and this section. It's like, okay, Carol, bite the bullet. Do one a month and finish this quilt. I mean, it's a nice quilt, and it'll be nice when it's finished. I'll like it. I'm sure I will. So, oh, here's one more block that was finished. So anyway, I found that, and I got out all the, when I say I found it, it was in my wall of fabric, and it was on the very top shelf with Thimbleberries fabrics, but it had kind of gotten shoved to the back, and I was looking for a specific Thimbleberries fabric that I wanted to use on a backing on something, and I was like, well, what do you know? Look at all this. I forgot about it. And this is from the first quilt shop I worked at. So I think I've showed you everything I wanted to show you. Now I have a mess that I have to clean But anyway, I hope you all have a good New Year, and my husband's going to insert some pictures, and so enjoy the little picture trail or watch it later or ignore it. But anyway, may you have a blessed New Year's. Stay safe on New Year's Eve. If you're going to imbibe, do it at home. I just want to say bye. Love ya. I just want to correct one thing. I said Merry Christmas Ellen Vaughn, and it's Ella Vaughn, Ella. So that came to my brain right after I clicked off. So see ya. Bye.